Good morning, and welcome to St. Paul's Universalist Church. My apologies for the ongoing chill. So it's supposed to be almost 50 today before the winter storm watch. The good news is that we got a part for the furnace. The bad news is when it arrived, it was broken. So it's on order. I want to give a special thank you to Steve Smith, who has really been working to warm things up around here, to spread the warmth, as it were. So we are hoping that we will get to that point. I wonder what it was like for our forebears. Maybe they did have a source of heat. Mary and I were talking about that. I know there was coal burning. I don't know what they did like in the 1890s in this church on colder days. But anyway, thank you, Steve, and hopefully by next Sunday you'll be able to feel your fingers when you come in here. In the way of announcements, today is our annual collection for the Claire Barton Camp for Diabetic Children. This is a program we have supported for many years. As most of you probably know, Claire Barton was the founder of the American Red Cross. She was also a Universalist. So when we do the offering, there'll be two collection plates coming around. I think the plate and the basket. One will be for the normal collection, the other will be for the Claire Barton Camp. Today is also our annual holiday luncheon, so I hope you didn't have a big breakfast. And it is warmer, and should be even warmer by the time we get down there. We've brought some heaters. The oven is going, heating up some of the food, and we have a fan transferring that out into the fellowship hall. So we hope you will be able to join us. And it already was warmer down there than it is up here. Let's see. That's all that I have. Anybody have anything else they'd like to announce? All right, let us proceed to our call to worship. Huh? Oh, goodness. You're right. Right, the call to worship is good. Yeah. Oh, goodness me. It's right remember. This is the second Sunday in the season of Advent. Our first Sunday of Advent reminded us to be patient. This second Sunday of Advent we light a candle in hope that the darkness will be dispelled. So please join with me in the words. In this holiday season, may the darkness of winter be dispelled in this festival of lights. And may the darkness of ignorance be dispelled in the strength of compassion, reason, and sharing. Please join us for the first two verses of Star Child. I open our service with the words of Maureen Killoran. 'Tis the season of advertisers run amok and ambitions amplified beyond belief, of Martha Stewart moments mixed with desert island dreams, when even the most dedicated holiday hopper admits perfection isn't possible and good enough is how the season ought to be. 'Tis the season of post-inebriated Santas blocking with consumer guilt the way to one too many holiday mad stores, when glad tidings of busyness keep us from the news that nostalgia ain't what it was, when we deal with the gap between what we could and should be doing and what is possible in the reality of today, the season when all the dreams you've ever dreamed of being but aren't return, reminding you of what you once could be. For all this and more, I say to you and to me, this is the season for generosity of spirit, for giving of the heart without counting cost, for forgiving those who are not here or not here as we would need, for gentleness with self and others, for hope that love in presence or in memory will pay a healing call, for conviction that the way you greet each dayspring is what matters after all. Blessings, and may this holiday season bring for you and yours joy and peace. I'm going to be lighting all sorts of candles today, and maybe it'll warm things up a little. As is our custom, we open with our lighting of our chalice. As we do so, please join me in the words. May this flame, symbol of transformation since time began, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage. We're also in the season of Hanukkah. See, more candles. Rabbi Micah Greenstein said, for more than 20 centuries, Hanukkah has celebrated the triumph of hope over fear and despair. So when you kindle the Hanukkah menorah, please don't just see the light. See yourself and those you love as the light. And on this third day of Hanukkah, the fourth day starts this evening, I will light the menorah, as I hope you will join us in song number 221. Standing and join me in the words of affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this church. Quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another and with our God.
Jesus
We are now at the time of the service where we share joys, sorrows, or concerns. If you have any you'd like to share, feel free to come up. It's actually a little warmer here by the candles. It's kind of funny, we're singing Don't Let the Light Go Out, and that second candle just would not stay lit. We got her there.
Jeff, you want to light one for Mary Davis, who had a fall?
Yes. Yes, this is for our friend Mary Davis, who took a nasty spill. She is in recovery. She is expected to make a full recovery, but is, according to Justin, they're really going to try to get her here for Christmas Eve. So keep her in your thoughts. And I hope I won't embarrass her, but a little bird told me that our friend Charlotte had a couple of falls, and we're glad to see you here, and glad to see you're able to come into our 19th century church recreation. I get a little too hung up on that. It's a candle of sorrow. I can't believe it's been 2 years, but it was 2 years ago today that my kid sister, Kristen, passed away from cancer.
And I believe it was as cold as this at the service.
Yeah, it may have been. So that church was recently rebuilt after a fire, so it should have had good heat. Ongoing prayers for the conflict in the Middle East. It is ironic that this time of the year, when we focus on that region because of its meaning, not only in the Hanukkah story, but also the Christmas story, that there is such discord and terror and war and all the horrible things that come with war continuing there. And as always, we light a final candle for any joys, sorrows, or concerns that go unspoken but remain in our hearts and minds. We will now give and receive the morning offering and collect for the Clara Barton Diabetic Camp to support the work, the wonder, and the witness of this community. invite you to join me now in a time of prayerful meditation. These are the words of Cynthia Fratto. I am always in a bit of shock when December arrives on the calendar. I always feel like there should be at least another week beyond Thanksgiving before I can even contemplate the next holiday. I think, however, that beyond the incredible demands of the season, the hardest part to reconcile is that the heart is not always in sync with angels, presents, babes in a manger, and the ho, ho, ho that is Christmas. Sometimes it feels like you just go through the motions because that's what is expected. Sometimes I wish Christmas would take a vacation and return midwinter next year. Yet there is something compelling about the fact that Christmas comes no matter what. The celebration of the birth of Jesus comes no matter the season of your heart. The Prince of Peace, the baby that would bring a message of universal equality, compassion, forgiveness, and love, is reborn again and again and again, no matter our state of mind or being. Indeed, in spite of it. Perhaps that is the real miracle of the season, that hope and possibility cannot be denied. As I contemplate the state of the world at this moment in time, I cannot think of anything more needed than a reminder of our potential to bring peace and healing and possibility into our lives. We don't always feel it or see it or think it is there. But then there comes Christmas, even when we aren't ready to receive it. A reminder that no matter what season of the heart that we are in, no matter what struggles or grief are consuming us, Christmas will not let us forget the light that was born in us, even on the darkest night of our souls. So even if you can't deal with all the razzle, dazzle, and expense of this holiday, at the very least, open the inn door and prepare the manger of your heart for the gentle but powerful message that is seeking to be reborn in you. Never forget that you are a child of the universe, and where there is life, there is light and love and hope waiting to be reborn again and again and again. So turn on some twinkling lights, pour yourself a glass of eggnog, or not, and wait for that angel chorus to announce your heart's rebirth. Let us now share a moment of silence where we listen to the wisdom of our hearts and minds. Let us join in song number 225.
Oh, come you days, bring home and
My wife and I were having a conversation the other day about how there are songs that as kids we didn't really care for, but as we've gotten older, we actually listen to or subject our kids to listening to when they're in the car and have no control over the radio. And that hymn was one that I never particularly cared for as a youth, but I've really come to appreciate in my time at St. Paul's. The title of this homily, and it is a homily, Merry Christmas. You're not going to have to sit here for a 20-minute sermon in this weather, is Have Yourselves an Adequate Little Christmas. Every year, it seems to start a little bit earlier. The Christmas tsunami. It's practically unavoidable in our society. Christmas has gotten so big that even some non-Christians practice it. It is both a religious and a secular celebration. And generally speaking, there tend to be two kinds of people when the season starts. I don't know if you can see this, but on the left is Buddy the Elf from the movie Elf, who just lost his mind every time Santa was mentioned. And on the other side is a character looking rather grim. It's actually from the Lord of the Rings movie, and he just grimly says, "So it begins." Chances are that you may be able to identify with one of these perspectives, or know someone who is a prime example of them. The fact of the matter is that whether you look forward to it, dread it, or just try to survive it, Christmas is stressful. There are two types of stress, you see: distress and eustress. Distress is what most of us think of when we talk about stress or feeling stressed out. It's the anxiety we feel when faced with negative situations. Things like, will I have the energy to cook all of those Christmas cookies? Or these lines at the store are crazy this time of year. I just wanted a half gallon of milk and I have to stand behind all these Christmas shoppers. How will I manage to cook dinner for all of those people that are coming? And hopefully no one brings up politics at the Christmas dinner table. Did I get enough gifts? Did I overdo it? And so on. In contrast, eustress is positive stress. The type of nervous energy you have when you're excited or caught up in happy times. You don't think of it that way, but it is very similar to the stress reaction from a physiological standpoint. The most obvious example is the way most kids feel as Christmas approaches. Some kids are savvy enough that if you ask them what Christmas is really about, they will tell you the baby Jesus or his family or your family or the time of family. But for most of them, it's about the presents, plain and simple. And who can blame them, really? When I was a kid, it got so bad with my sister, brother, and I, and maybe those of you who raised children in the 60s and 70s can identify with this. My mother got into the habit of hiding, intercepting, as you will, the annual J.C. Penney Christmas catalog, so that the three of us wouldn't obsess on gift requests. Like, hey, can you order this? Can I have this for Christmas? Because it would come out that much earlier. In my other job, I refer to this brimming enthusiasm over the holiday as sugar plum fairy syndrome. I should trademark that. That underlying excitement and anticipation that makes the students a little more wild at the holidays. As adults, eustress can manifest in the anticipation and exhaustion of keeping up with the fun of Christmas. Putting up the decorations, traveling here and there, parties and kids or grandkids and other family and friends, and Christmas lights and Christmas concerts. So whether the holiday leaves you feeling like Buddy the Elf, or this guy, or bouncing between these two states of mind, that's where I often find myself. Christmas can often feel like a time of extremes, almost something to be survived, to be endured, rather than experienced or enjoyed. But what if there were a third alternative? What if it wasn't only a choice between merry or misery? What about that third option? An adequate Christmas. This was an idea coined by the Reverend Jake Morrill, a longtime minister of the UU Parish in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. So what does an adequate Christmas look like? It doesn't sound very exciting, does it? Have yourselves an adequate Christmas. It almost has a sort of Buddhist way of observing the holiday. It means just being open to the season, calm and open, taking it in, and accepting whatever is. Because, we've all experienced Christmas for all of our lives. And Reverend Morrill suggests 3 things that can promote this. First, notice those behaviors that you tend to do when you're wound up too tight. It could be overindulging in food or drink that's abundant this time of year. It could be picking fights with family members over sports or politics, or whether to say Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays. That was last week's sermon. Anyway, just choose one behavior you know that you've got in you. And you don't necessarily need to change it. Just try to notice it, see what happens. Be aware of it. Simple awareness can be a powerful tool. Secondly, try saying out loud what you want. That doesn't mean, going up to someone and saying, I want a new bowling ball for Christmas. No one can read your mind. It'd be helpful if we could, or detrimental. I often wondered about that. Sometimes we assume that people know what we need and where we're coming from, even if we don't give them a map, so to speak. They know us. How can they not know how we would feel or think in this situation? So if you've got particular expectations for the holiday season, let them be known. Say, I'd like to do this. I'd like to do that. Or go there. Or I really don't think I have time or the energy in me to fit that in. When we make it clear what our expectations for the season are, and those that we share that time with do likewise, it's easier to figure out how to navigate it. And lastly, something that often gets overlooked in the increasingly secular way that the holiday is observed. Try to treat the holidays as sacred time. Turn your attention toward those traditions, toward spiritual practice, toward encountering and welcoming God, whatever God is to you, like you haven't before. Try to slow it down. Slow it all down, like you might in some way be attuned to the pace of the eternal. Whether it's the Christ child in the manger, or carrying on the traditions that connect you to family both past and present, or that feeling that makes you feel a little kinder, a little more generous this time of year. Or the comfort that comes from knowing that the seasons will turn as they always do, and that brighter days are coming. These are the things that can give the season a deeper sense of meaning. Will doing all these things bring about a wonderful Christmas? Not necessarily. But in the face of Christmas stress, be it positive or negative, maybe sometimes all we need is an adequate Christmas. Something to think about. Amen. Our last song is number 244. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's another UU contribution. UU's contributed quite a bit to our modern Christmas songs and traditions, more so than most people would think. I close our service with the words of Maureen Caloran. No one is ever really ready for Christmas. If we were really all prepared, if every gift we had contemplated had been obtained, if every present was beautifully beribboned, if all the goodies our friends deserved were baked and cooled and stored just so, if each and every person we love was gathered for our celebration, if we never snapped at someone we care about, nor stopped short of being all that we could be, if our minds were 100% loving and our hearts were 100% generous, they truly would be ready, and truly we would not need Christmas quite so much. So come, Christmas, most needed of seasons. Come with a reminder that love does not depend on perfection, but on willingness to risk connection. Come into the unready manger of our hearts, that we may feel the warmth of new life and give flesh to the promise of hope that cries to bring healing into our world. Come Christmas, come love, come hope, be born in our unready hearts. Please join me as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice flame, daring to carry forward the vision of this free faith, that freedom, reason, and justice will one day prevail in this nation and across the earth.
The odds are religion, which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple all streets, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual words of love.
I'm going to light one more. I heard this condition. When you walk into a room and you don't remember what you were there for, don't say you're forgetful. Say you have destinesia. You know, you forgot your destiny. Anyway, this is the candle I forgot. Dawn and I had the privilege of listening to Mark's, I'm saying it, the Oneida Civic Chorale? Oneida Civic Chorale at Oneida High School. And what a privilege. And then this rousing tune was a pleasant surprise with the, especially, and shows off the talent of our music director because he did it with partially frozen fingers. Anyway, thank you for coming. I hope that you didn't freeze. It is warmer downstairs. Even if you stop in for a bite or want to take a little home or whatever, please join us or consider joining us downstairs.